Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Weather Center Live. We're breaking in, as the title implies. We are breaking. We're going live at 7:45. I know it's only 15 minutes early, but we're going live now because we have a little bit of our thunderstorm activity really starting to kick off in northern Illinois. We already have reported tornado damage, tornadoes on the ground, storm chasers in hot pursuit of the situation that's already unfolding. I have a lot of folks I've been in close communication with on TikTok as well with lots of questions. I'm trying to invite them over to the stream here on YouTube so we can finally get this thing going, get some information out there for everybody. We are currently looking at our MRMS composite reflectivity of the Mid-Atlantic / the Midwest Great Lakes area, because we have one area of initiation already occurring. Our trigger has occurred in northern Illinois, where we've already had 3 to 4 different tornado warnings. I believe it was 4 simultaneously at one point. We just had a new severe thunderstorm warning issued in hot pursuit of what's already occurring just to the southwest of our Chicago area. So it's headed straight for Chicago right now as we speak. We've got a very good rotating storm, 2 active tornado warnings headed right towards the northern side of Chicago, Illinois, the greater Chicago area. And again, I mentioned storm chasers are in hot pursuit of this cell. There were multiple cells altogether. It does look like one has completely washed itself out just to the east of Geneso, south of Walnut, headed into Walnut, Illinois right now, moving towards Paw Paw, Amboy, Sandwich, ironically. And that is probably dropping some pretty good convective winds with it. Whenever we see those returns suddenly drop off the way that they have, that indicates that our convective downrush is likely occurring, and our convective winds could possibly be happening if the preliminary rain showers out ahead of this system didn't already rain out the low to mid levels of the environment, helping to kind of relax a little bit of that downdraft cape that's been highlighted thanks to not only our dry line that it's in place, but the dry air intrusion brought on by our cold front just upstream of it. So I'll zoom back out just a little bit as we're getting started with the stream, folks. That's going to be area number 1. Let me zoom out a little bit more. This is area number 1, and it's going to kind of be a domino effect. Number 1 was firing in northern Illinois. Number 2, we're going to have initiation down here. You can see it on satellite imagery. You can already see some stuff in Missouri as well starting to pop off along the leading edge of that cold front. As this continues to travel towards our buoyancy, we can expect even more initiation to occur just out ahead of where this stuff is trying to organize. Back behind it, we have lots of snowfall. We have the snowfall, good old snow for my snow enthusiasts out there, already occurring upstream over parts of, I can't even see where we are right now. I believe this is Missouri, so this would be Iowa. Iowa's getting some snow right now. To the north of that into Minnesota, Wisconsin getting some good snow. Might have some freezing rain peppered in there as well. But these are going to be our 3 main areas. We want to watch this whole area for convective development. We want to watch down here for convective development, as well as what this area of organized shower activity does once it runs headfirst into our stream of good upward vertical motion, good vorticity along the leading edge of our storm system, as well as the Cape values that have been surging across much of this region for the last, I would say, 6 to 12 hours now. They've really seen them amp up. And that conditional stability has definitely depleted some. We have a bit more conditional instability to tap into and work with this severe weather setup, which is why we're starting to see things ignite as fast as they are. Judy Tokos, good evening. Leah Janelle, thank you very much for joining us. Brooke Ward, hello there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Alfalfa Bill Enjoyer. I saw on Twitter someone said there was a capper on Purdue, Illinois. Well, you know, it definitely doesn't seem like that was the case, although I'm not too familiar with where Purdue is. We can take a look at it here in a moment. Let's see. Let's zoom in a little bit. Florida man, severe thunderstorm warning for Kendall County in northeastern Illinois, northeastern LaSalle County, and north central Illinois. Yep, they're definitely firing them off. Let's see. Where is Purdue? Where is Purdue? Alfalfa, if you can give us a bit of a geographical reference point, that'd be lovely. I was a 25th OWS forecaster, not a 15th OWS forecaster, although I bet you the 15th Operational Weather Squadron's having their hands full with this situation that's unfolding right now. Would not be surprised whatsoever. So let us see. We definitely have this one small area flaring up right now, and we are getting close to closing time. It is 7:49 Eastern Standard Time, 6:49 for our Central Standard folks out there, so they still have about an hour or two before our main stuff begins to fire off south of where that setup is. And on top of that, I'm not going to be able to pull this up on visible satellite because, unfortunately, we're dealing with a nocturnal threat, but we also have to mention, and remember, is with this situation unfolding up here with all these convective blow-ups already happening, each time these systems blow themselves out like this and they collapse, you're pushing outflow out. You're pushing a cold pool that's going to help to intensify the push of cold air that's already upstream and the large scale brought on by our cold front. So as those outflow boundaries permeate off in different directions, that's also going to help to try to trigger up some convective activity. Scroll up and check the Twitter link. Anawan, Illinois has damage. What a bummer. Let's see. Twitter link. Let's open this in a new window so I can pull it over for the stream. Oh, dear God. Wow. That's pretty substantial damage as well. That's some pretty solid damage. It's got to be an F2. It's got to be a solid F2. Because we're not looking at the most sturdiest of objects here. This is farmhouse. This is a barn, it looks like. So it's not going to be the most structurally sound. I would think F2 intensity for sure. Looks like there was something toppled over to the right-hand side here. Some stuff really good tossed around. This sheet metal, that's the thing too, is with these sheet metal structures, the moment the winds will end up getting to them, that's when they'll get ripped apart and they'll catch air very quickly. So this could even be something as small as a fast-moving F1 tornado. It's very hard to put it together. It looks like the latter half of this tractor here was turned over. This was definitely demolished, whatever this farmhouse structure was. French toast, 75-mile-per-hour wind gust, 2-inch hail, and a possible tornado. Make sure to have warnings loud and clear. That's exactly what I was talking about, too. 75-mile-an-hour winds. That could possibly be a downrush that's occurring right now, or that could possibly be an embedded funnel in that area. All right, so let's get into some of the model data while we have that under wraps, although we're going to have to watch closely for Chicago. Chicago has that stuff barreling right towards them. Let's switch really quickly over to our base velocity and see exactly what it is that we have going on. Let's see, where is our base velocity? Where did my base velocity go? Why is it not on here anymore? It's been a little... Oh, that's right, because we're not on the single site. Hello, that's why. It's been a little bit. We haven't had severe weather out here in a while, so that's why I'm bumbling through this like I am. All right, let's switch over to our base velocity and see exactly what we have going on. Oh, yeah, big time stuff. There's definitely 2 possible tornadoes right there. Without a shallow of a doubt, we have very, very good gate-to-gate shear. Maple Park, Elburn, Lily Lake, Caneville, headed towards St. Charles, Geneva, Batava, Wayne, South Elgin, North Aurora, you're in the path. Hinckley is possibly right underneath a tornado, a weak tornado it looks like, if not a very good rotating supercell. Nice mesocyclone. There's probably a wall cloud associated with this system over Hinckley. Headed towards, what is that, Big Rock? Yep, Big Rock, Sugar Grove, Aurora, Montgomery. You guys definitely need to be taking shelter. It looks like there was a weak spin that's just to the southwest of Pingree Grove, just to the east of Burlington, southeast of Hampshire, headed towards Elgin. That is still tornado warned. This one definitely looks like it's weakening, though. These 2 are definitely the main focuses right here. You have a tremendous amount of inflow on the backside of both of these systems, so they are very rapidly and violently rotating. I would not be surprised if we have violent tornadoes being put out with this. If not, they are getting ready to produce, if not already have produced. It looks like there's a report right here, as a matter of fact. Yep, tornado report. Train spotter reports a tornado on the ground 2 miles northeast of Waterman. So there is a twister on the ground. Active storm chase right now. This is wild. Definitely wild. These came out of nowhere. All right, let's switch back over to our MRMS. And we will keep a close eye out on the rest of the situation. So as I mentioned, before we steer away from this, from anybody who may be joining in, we're watching this area for initiation, we're watching this area for initiation, and this whole area could possibly ignite according to our model data. Let's get over there to that now. Let's take a look real quick. So before we go into the models, we're going to look at the mesoscale view. We're looking at the College of DuPage. Let me make sure once it populates into the live stream window, you guys can see okay. Yep, you definitely can. Perfect. All right. That is an excellent shot, actually. As a matter of fact, it's gotten rid of all the toolbar and everything, too, so we can see perfectly. Okay. I'm going to pause this, and we're going to highlight some very interesting features on here. Number 1, just a quick how goes it fact before we get into the meat and potatoes. Look at this fire burning over the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle. Massive wildfire setup going on down there in Texas. Very bad setup. And you know it's bad when you can see it on infrared satellite like this. This is shortwave infrared. You can definitely see it. But anyways, that's just a little tidbit. How goes it? Here's our frontal system. Here's our low. This is the cold sector right in through here. That's all your snowfall. And then notice very, very faintly right in through here, guys, you can see a very, very shallow, milky, dark gray coloring that's moving through the pattern towards the south and east. That is your cold front. That's the leading edge of the cold front, and that's exactly what helped to instigate this formation here. So that's why I'm watching right in through here and right in through here as that cold front continues to propagate to the south. If we can hold on to that surface-based cape, if we can hold on to that instability, that is when it's going to go up. That's going to be the lighter to your firecracker, if you will. So that's what we have going on in the mesoscale. Let's go ahead and take a look at the the simulated reflectivity. This is the HER. This is our latest HER model for 23Z. We should be getting 0Z here very soon, but this is the full run of the 23Z. You can see the HRRR is verifying really well with what's going on up to the north, although it does seem like it's just a smidge. No, actually, it's verifying wonderfully. It's doing a very good job. It's actually right spot on, which means that here in a moment, guys, we're going to see these areas start to go. We're going to see Missouri begin to kick off, and we're going to see stuff in southeastern Illinois, possibly into Indiana, and then that's when we're really going to start to see stuff flare up and move across the AOR. It's going to be clustered. It's going to be clustered up. If you are from my TikTok, which I'm not too sure if I have anybody in there from the TikTok, we're very low on concurrent viewers right now. I've been mentioning that even though we're looking at a synoptic scale threat, a lot of this is going to be bunched up. A lot of it is going to be consolidated to localized areas. You're going to have a pocket here, you're going to have a pocket here, you're going to have a pocket here. We're looking at not only air mass influence helping to develop these thunderstorms, but we're also looking at a synoptic scale trigger, and that's exactly why with the two kind of going in coexistence of one another, you're going to see these pockets, these embedded areas that are just going to blow up. So if the HRRR continues to verify as well as it is, we are 4 minutes out from 8 o'clock. If I switch back over to our radar image, we should be any moment now preparing to see this area start to go, as well as this area in Missouri. We shall see. We will see if there's any latency in the models. It does not look like there's anything really happening just yet. We have some fair weather returns out there still, some moisture moving through the atmosphere. Jefferson City, Missouri, northwest of Lebanon, Missouri, we have those showers, those little discrete showers that are off doing their own thing. That's another area that's likely to go up. So it looks like the new warning that has come out is not necessarily a new warning. It's actually an extension. They've extended that projected window of movement. That's what's going on here. Let's switch back to our single site radar. Single site radar, and you can see that that's exactly what's going on here. They're expanding the warnings, or they're extending it, because this is going to definitely be a long tracker right in through here. You can see it rotating there. You got some rotation going on in there. You got some rotation going on in there. There's Crystal Lake. Shout out to Jason Voorhees. He was here for Friday the 13th last time during a live stream. Very exciting. All right, anyways, back on topic. Let's go back to our base velocity. And there you go. Wow. This looks like it's trying to re-intensify. Pingree Grove, Elgin, South Elgin, watch out, Carpentersville, coming right at you. Coming right towards you. If anybody can share this live stream, get the word out. Please get that out there for them. In Carpentersville, Elgin, South Elgin, Algonquin, however you say that. I'm probably butchering that. Almost headed towards the Crystal Lake area, as a matter of fact. That supercell to the north, this rotating storm here, looks like it's trying to re-intensify. We're getting a bit of an indication that the inflow on the south side of the storm is starting to expedite itself, and that is gnarly. Let's zoom in on that a little bit more. Let me get off the stupid highlighter. Look at this puppy right there, guys. That right there, if that is not a tornado on the ground, then I don't know what to tell you. Definitely do not know what to tell you, because that is very, very aggressive gate-to-gate shear. This, I don't even have the legend on with this chart or this radar overlay. I don't know how to pull up the legend on here, unfortunately. Let me see. Is there a way I can pull up the legend? But all I can tell you is that is a very, very dramatic piece of inflow on the backside of this system. There's your twister right in through there. And I bet if we were to switch over to a high-res model, not high-res model, but a better radar output, we'll probably get a better look at it. Why does this seem like it's acting up? Does this website, not this website, but this radar site not offer our high-res? Let me try this one then. Let's see. Why is it no? Why does it all of a sudden... This is why I need to get Gibson Ridge. Why are we not able to? Are these smaller radar sites? Is that what it is? They are smaller radar sites. Okay, I just figured out the problem. Let's go up here. Is this a big radar site? No, it is not. Can we find a big radar site? There we go. Okay, now we can finally see. Let's do it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of our dual pole products and see what we can see down there. All right. I can definitely see this area right in through here, right within that tornado warning. Let's get over to, what does the Ville look like? What does the Ville look like? Look at that. It's crazy. That's going to be miserable. That is massive hail. Very strong core of the storm right here. You do not want to enter that. That is the danger zone right there. Your tornado is right out in front of it for certain, but that is your hail core, and that is your strongest wind. Once this starts to drop, I'm pretty sure we've maxed out the Ville threshold on this. Once this starts to rapidly drop, you're going to end up having a ton of downrush winds associated with this. We got another link. There we go. Is this the one that's happening right now? Hinckley, Illinois. Let's see. Hinckley. Yep, there it is. So we just called it. We just verified it. Twitter on the X. Adam Lucio. Shout out to them. Just streamed this damaging tornado live in Hinckley, Illinois. That is a tornado on the ground, folks. Not a full stovepipe. It's a half pipe, if you will, with an invisible trunk down towards the lower half, but you can definitely see the contact with the ground, so that is a confirmed tornado. It looks like there's hail on the ground as well. Sheesh, okay. Velocity looks intense out here. Very, very, very much so intense. Let's go to the differential reflectivity. Oh, yeah, you can see them. You can definitely see them with the differential reflectivity. We got something here. We got something there. Very possible that that's debris. And it looks like there's also a little bit more up in through here. You can see your hail. You can see the hail very readily apparent on here on the differential reflectivity. Shoot, that is not good at all. And that's headed right towards the greater Chicago area. They need to be watching that definitely closely. I really wish I could get more people in here from TikTok joining us. Let me see. Can I post something on my story? Let me just take a quick little thing here and post it on the story for TikTok. And I'm not looking at the chat right now. No, I do not want to pin. All right, let's see. Do we have questions in the chat? Tornadoes can easily destroy homes or damage them. Make sure to get to cover. Hey, everybody. So Columbus, Ohio may see something in about what time? Columbus, Ohio. Brooke, we're looking into it just in a little bit. We're going to dive back into the model data here in a second. Let me go ahead and record for the talk. Zen, welcome in. Leah, welcome in. Or I already said that. I already mentioned that earlier. My bad. So we definitely have something headed towards Chicago. We have a tornado on the ground headed towards Chicago as we speak. We're tracking it live on radar. Moving towards that area right now. There's a number of supercell activity out there. Yeah, that is a very, very robust line. That is for sure. And there's something back building back behind it. We've got stuff back building back behind this storm. Yep, this is firing. This is what I was mentioning to you guys earlier. If you look at the radar imagery right here, this is firing right up along that outflow from that previous storm that rained itself out. Right here, we're getting a resurgence of convection over Sterling and Dixon. It's exactly what's happening. That cold pool, that outflow boundary just rushed out. This is moving very fast off to the east. All right, let's switch back over to our MRMS. Let's zoom out, and let's see exactly what we have going on. Let's see if anything else is starting to go off. Not as of yet. Not as of yet. That is going to be a wicked line. This is going to be a long track system out through there. That's definitely going to keep going into the Great Lakes. Hopefully the water will cool it off. I highly doubt it, especially with the lake effect that's expected to happen over the next couple of hours as this moves through. Oh, yeah, you can see that plain as day. That tornado is definitely on the ground. I got to switch back over to our single site again. I keep forgetting to do that. Let me select the radar. Get back to the radar. I got to hurry up. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. I would not be surprised if that Sterling-Dixon storm gets a severe thunderstorm indicator on it. We got a big-time tornado headed towards Aurora, Naperville. I'm very familiar with those areas. Oswego, Bolingbrook. I actually help patients out in the Bolingbrook area. Same with LaGrange Hospital. Headed towards the greater Chicago area, there's a large line of squall and thunderstorm activity with embedded supercells and rotating storms. So they definitely need to pay close attention, get their warnings, and get their warnings quickly. We have another cell that's getting ready to blossom up near Sterling and Dixon. That could possibly go rotational. It's hard to tell. It could possibly just be a flare-up right along the leading edge of that outflow boundary that's moving through at the same time. Let's see. So it collapsed, starts to fire up. It looks like we're going to have some stuff begin to build up near Beloit, Clinton. I see some convective initiation happening further to the north as well. There's some more stuff going on up here. That's a smaller radar. I need the larger radars. What about this one? Is this a larger? There we go. Larger radar. Grand Rapids, is that a big radar? It is a big radar. Let's go up to here. This can give us a better look. We're a little bit closer. All right, pardon me, guys. I'm going to blast this out on my TikTok. All right, there we go. Putting that out into space. I'm also going to have to put this on the charger here in a second. I'm running out of... I wish I could... Actually, you know what? Wait a second. Anybody in the chat right now, and this is a genuine question, anybody in the chat savvy with TikTok, could I technically stream from YouTube talking to you guys and also brief folks on TikTok at the same time? I know obviously you need a 10,000 follower total on TikTok to get the capabilities to stream simultaneously, but what I'm saying is, like, I'll have my phone here next to the camera. Anybody know if that's possible? Will that interfere with anything? I gotta plug my phone in, as a matter of fact. Losing battery here. There we go. All right, let's try. Let's do it anyways. I'm going to put it right next to... Do I have my little stand in here? I could probably use this here. Let's see. Improvising, guys, so bear with me, please. Trying to stream out to as many people as possible. Let's see. That's not going to do it. Let me put it over here. Will this work? Can I attach it over here? Well, not necessarily making a video, but just going ahead and streaming out live on my TikTok at the same time as... I guess that'll work too. That'll work just fine. Let me go live. Give me 1 second, folks. I do apologize. We're going to get back to the YouTube stream here in a second. Go live. I've already read them. Yes, I understand TikTok. Yep, I get it. Oh my God, okay. Yes, be 18 years or older. Sometimes TikTok is such a struggle with doing lives and whatnot. I think it's probably because I broke their behavior a long time ago when I was storm chasing previously. Good God, why is it doing this? Do I have another stand in this room that I could use? Sheesh, I do not. All right, anyways, let's get back to it. All right. Waiting for that to... Yeah, there's definitely stuff getting ready to fire up. This is going to be another line. They're going to have to start taking shelter or watching out. Rockford, McChesney Park, Roscoe, Rockton, Sherlin, Beloit, Poplar Grove, Timberlane, Capron, Harvard. You're going to have another area ignite here in a second, just to the east of Freeport, Rideau, Dakota, Davis, Durand, just to the south of your location. We've got another cell that's getting ready to ignite very rapidly, too. You can see the returns are quickly going up. I think that's outflow. That's probably firing off of outflow that's coming off of this stuff here that's moving right over top of Crystal Lake. You can tell that it's washing out. All right, here we go. Now, please, 3, 2, 1. You're not giving me a chance to name the stream. Hang on, I need to turn this off. Shut up. Let's go live here. And how do I, let me see, how do I change the title? Notifying your, all right, that's fine. You know what, then that's cool. We'll just stay live, and we're not going to worry about the title or anything like that. We're just going to go live. There we go. I got it simultaneously going off of this and going off of this. So we have a new line that's getting ready to form up. Northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. We can definitely see it firing off of the outflow out there. That's for certain. Keep going. We're letting more viewers know that you're live. I just want to know if there's a way I could change the title of this live stream. Swipe to close, overview, duration. Okay, that's cool. I want a title for the live stream, TikTok. What you doing here? Let's see. Kendra, welcome in. Clever, welcome in. Horrible with Gaming, welcome in. Marshall Betts, welcome in. You will not be able to see the stream itself, folks, if you're watching from TikTok. Unfortunately, I'm streaming on YouTube. If you have the capabilities of joining on YouTube, I've got live radar, live satellite, live forecast model data. If you're anywhere in the northern Illinois area, we have some very hellacious thunderstorms going on right now. We have a tornado confirmed on the ground near Aurora, Illinois, headed towards Naperville, Wheaton Villa Park, LaGrange, Darien, Bolingbrook, Bridgeview, headed towards the greater Chicago area. We have a new line getting ready to fire up just to the east of Freeport in Cedarville, Illinois, headed towards McChesney Park, Roscoe, Rockton, Beloit, however you say that, Belvedere. We have a new area that's getting ready to fire up along the outflow of these storms as they fire up, collapse, fire up, and collapse. I'm not too sure if the tornado is still confirmed on the ground. We're going to switch over to our high-res data here in a second. Let's go take a look at our correlate, or no, our differential reflectivity will be able to tell us. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Big-time hail falling, that's for certain. We have a report of over an inch of hail, 1 inch hail, just to the west of Algonquin, Cary, Crystal Lake, Friday the 13th fans. So it's definitely very, very busy out there. It's very busy out there. Anybody in the YouTube chat, if you've got any questions, we have a number of people watching from there as well. Let's switch back over to MRMS. Let's do another big zoom. That storm near Dixon is definitely going to try to get going and then rain itself out very quickly. I can tell that's going to be a convective wind threat for certain with as fast as it's going up. Not seeing a whole lot of ignition just yet in parts of Missouri or southern Illinois. It looks like it's going to try to get going here in a moment. We got to track the front. We definitely got to track the front a little bit more so. All right, we're turning the radar off. We're going to go back to our model data. Let's take a look at some of our model data or even our analysis data. Let's take a look real fast. So this is our HRRR. We're expecting it to start to fire up right over the southeast quadrant of Illinois here within the next hour, within the hour. It should be very soon. It's going to start to ignite. We're expecting a little bit of intensification of those storms that are in Missouri. They're going to cross St. Louis, Missouri, moving into southern Illinois, and that's when they're going to fire up the moment they hit a little bit of that leftover buoyancy. Let's see if we're starting to get the 0Z HRRR in just yet. I've got the 18Z RRFS. RRFs, as I like to call it. I mentioned that in my TikTok update earlier today, and both of these models are definitely in coexistence with one another. However, the RRFs is a little slow. The RFS didn't think we were going to get tornadic activity until after 8 p.m., closer to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be 8 p.m. Central Time, and we're definitely behind the curve, so we could possibly see those storms get going any moment now. It looks like the RRFs model is thinking that Fort Wayne, Toledo, South Bend of Michigan, headed towards Detroit, is probably going to be in for a round of potentially large hail and very strong convective winds. Let's go back to our radar, or not our radar, excuse me. Let's go back to satellite imagery, and let's take a look at this. So there's our front. Yeah, we've got a little bit of lead time, I think. Our front is still pressing through parts of Illinois. It's almost into the interior parts of the state, and that's what's helping to really shove those storms off to the east. If you guys noticed when we were on the radar a little bit ago, you could tell that the bottom extent of those storms are getting nudged all the way far to the right. And that's how you can tell that that cold push down in the low levels is really helping to expedite the movement of these storms. They're going to be fast moving. And it's very cool to see that the forecast we've been putting out on TikTok and on other social media is somewhat verifying. They are very localized in nature. They're not very widespread. They're not scattered. We're looking at very isolated instances of our very strong activity. And unfortunately, in those isolated areas, it is very strong. We have tornado damage already confirmed in northern Illinois. Large hail, damaging hail already confirmed. We've had 60, 75 mile an hour wind reports coming out of that area as well. And we're only getting started. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stay on the stream for too long. We're going to try our best to stay as long as we can and continue to broadcast to you guys. For those of you guys in TikTok, thank you very much for joining us. I'm currently live on my YouTube channel. If you have the means to join us on YouTube, the link is in the bio on my TikTok profile. You'll be able to see everything that I'm looking at, everything that I'm diagnosing and dissecting to my viewers on YouTube. But if not, you'll be listening to us podcast style, with us alerting exactly where it is we're looking at these storms barreling through. Northeastern and northern Illinois has been getting the hammer. They are currently getting hit hard right now, and it's a huge shame, I should say, and you can definitely see where the front is moving through northwestern and western Illinois, getting ready to butt right up against this southerly flow that's moving across the southern half of the state, getting closer to Indiana. Once this front can move a little bit further to the west, or the east, pardon me, wow, I need to sip another little bit of my coffee. As this front continues to barrel off to the east and southeast, that's what's going to help to really ignite a lot of our storms. What is TikTok telling me to do? To swipe over? I'm not going to swipe anything right now. I'm just trying to stay live with everybody. Silver Steel S. The radar imagery is beautiful, though. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. It really, genuinely, it means a lot to me. I definitely, sincerely appreciate it, especially after a long day of hunting for weather, working hard, and trying to provide for you guys. Thanks for the super chat. I agree, Florida man. If any has any questions, Zara can answer you. Yes, if I'm busy forecasting and mentioning things to other folks, please feel free to tag Florida man or PM in the chat on YouTube as well. They're very happy to get back to you guys at a moment's notice. Zen, thank you very much, dear, for the $5 donation as well. And JF, thank you kindly for the $5 donation as well, guys. It definitely means a lot. It definitely helps the channel. It goes right back into the channel, and it makes all this hard work feel a little bit more fulfilling, especially since I get to not only interact with everybody on here and on TikTok, whoever may still be watching. You know, there's a lot going on all at once. I think I need to change this TikTok live stream name. There has to be a way I can adjust the name on this, because I don't think people really understand what's going on right now, and there has to be a way that I could change it. Is there a way I can edit it? I don't want a mute microphone. I want a settings. Can I change the settings? Let's see. Common settings, blocked accounts. I really want to figure out how to change the name of the live stream. Is there any way I could do that? Let's see. I don't know how I can do that. If there's anybody in TikTok who can tell me how to change the title of the live stream that I'm broadcasting right now, please let me know. We're also simultaneously live on YouTube, trying to concentrate on everything that's happening. Check the Twitter link. Let's see what we got. More stuff on X. Oh, yeah, there it is. Tornado in northern Illinois in February. Yep, that is definitely for certain. Definitely for certain. There's our little debris ball on the correlation coefficient. Confirmed tornado moving past North Aurora, headed towards Geneva, Batavia. And it is still on the move. Let me switch back over to our radar imagery really quickly, see what exactly is going on there. All right, yeah, this area is getting ready to go. I can tell. Within the next 20 to 30 minutes, this area is going to start firing. As we get that frontal line to continue to move to the south, you can see the fair weather return still popping up down there. It's definitely going to get going any moment now. So I'm just going to say it right out of the gate. There's nothing down there right now. Greenville, Effingham, Terre Haute, Robinson, Vincennes. I'm definitely butchering these names. Princeton, Carmi, Benton, Mount Vernon in Illinois. You're definitely going to have to keep a close eye out, as well as along the border of Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky, Owensboro, Evansville, Morganfield. That whole area is potentially primed to go. Just haven't lit the fuse just yet, but it's almost there. I don't know how this TikTok live works. I'm doing my best here, but you know what? We're going to keep going. We're just going to keep blasting it out on both sides. Let's get into some model data. Actually, you know what? Let's switch to analysis data. Let's go to our analysis data and stop talking models so much. We know where the front is. We know where our main area of convection is already firing off. Let's switch over to some good old-fashioned analysis data real quick, especially while we have a few viewers in on the TikTok as well, so we can start to describe that, tell them a bit of a story. So, analysis data. Let's go down to the surface maps first. Actually, you know what? Let's go to our mesoanalysis first and foremost. So this is what is really helping to intensify what's going on. If you guys look here, this is our 850 millibar analysis chart. And as you can see exactly where our most moist atmosphere is alongside all of our thickness packing and our good temperature gradient that's oriented northeast to southwest through the heart of Wisconsin, Iowa, getting into northeastern Illinois or northwestern Illinois. This is an old analysis. They probably should have updated it by now. I don't know why we don't have an updated analysis. Or no, actually, what am I doing? Come on, David, wake up a little bit more. That is an active analysis. The Theta E does a wonderful job of showing us exactly where it is that everything is going to start to go down. I had this put in on TikTok earlier as well. Kimmy M, Memphis, Tennessee is good to go as of right now. They're good to go for now. It doesn't seem like you're going to see very much tonight. However, into tomorrow, it does look like there is a level 1 risk for severe weather. If you have the means of joining us on YouTube, you can see exactly what I'm streaming and what I'm overlaying right now. But in terms of Memphis, Tennessee, for the next 20 to 24 hours, you guys are in the clear down there. We're mainly focusing here on Illinois, the eastern extent of Missouri, parts of Indiana, as it works its way up towards the Michigan area as well. The Theta E does an outstanding job of showing us our gradient, and what the Theta E, guys, is, in layman's terms, is the delineation between air masses. This is our cold air mass. You can see our cold pool really surging through the Dakotas, Minnesota, getting into Nebraska, now pushing across the Central Plains into the Midwest, and that's exactly what's helping to really trigger these storms. It looks like we're starting to get a little bit of cyclogenesis as well over Illinois, and that's likely why it is we're starting to see such aggressive thunderstorms firing up the way that they are. As a matter of fact, let's go back in time a little bit. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a weak low pressure system that's moving across Wisconsin that is kind of dying out, it looks like, as it moves over the Great Lakes. And we're starting to get a new area of low pressure. I don't know if that's triple point cyclogenesis. We'll have to switch over to Weather Prediction Center here in a second and see exactly what that is, but it definitely looks like there is cyclogenesis, the formation of another low pressure system over extreme upper in Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and that's exactly what's helping to trigger off a lot of our thunderstorms. Let's go back to our data. Let's go to analysis data. Let's go to our mesoanalysis one more time. Let's see what else we got here. Got our moisture advection. So the moisture advection is definitely what's helping to intensify what's going on up there. And all in all, yeah, it looks like our greatest area of moisture convergence and advection is occurring over northern Illinois. We're still kind of spotty down over Missouri, the southern half of the state, into Kentucky. There's a little bit of extra convergence and advection occurring into eastern Indiana, the eastern side of Kentucky, and into Ohio. That's likely from our preliminary activity that's happened earlier in the day. Carpentersville, Illinois. Daniel, welcome into TikTok. Let me go ahead and take a look at that area, buddy. Let me get to that here in a second. Trying to simultaneously stream on both platforms right now. Let's see. Oh, wow. I don't know why my chat on YouTube just now decided to update. I don't know what's going on there. Carpenter, Illinois. I'm gonna check for you and see exactly if you're out ahead of what's happening in northern Illinois. Carpentersville, you are right in the heat of it. Daniel, you are right in the heat of it. Can you give us an observation on TikTok, please? Can you drop something in the chat on TikTok? Let us know what it is that you're seeing right now, because you are right underneath one of our tornado-warned storms. In fact, it looks like the funnel, if there is one on the ground, should have just moved downstream of your area. It should be out ahead of you now. You should be in the safe zone, at least according to what I'm seeing here on radar. Let me go ahead and switch over to a single site so we can take a closer look. I'll zoom in real close. So there's Carpentersville. I see you. You go to high-res velocity. Yeah, it is just off to your south, Daniel, if you're still in the chat. It is just off to your south. Very, very, very aggressive gate-to-gate shear right over top of West Dundee, Fox River Bluffs, if you're familiar with the area. I'll zoom in a little bit closer. It looks like Richardson, Ringles River Gardens, Fox River Bluffs, Santa's Village, AZ Amusement Park, Amusement Park is what it looks like, is where that tornado is currently centered, just immediately off to your south-southwest in Carpentersville. Incredible gate-to-gate shear that I'm looking at. Sleepy Hollow is just to the west of where that funnel could potentially be. Spring Lake Reserve, Jane Addams Memorial Tollway. Calling out every random... Okay, and it looks like it's propagating off to the east-southeast, so it's going to just barely miss your area. West Dundee is on the back side of it now. Probably in the wraparound wind flow of whatever is producing that cell. Yeah, it looks like the radar just updated. It is now due south of Carpentersville. Sirens in Carroll Stream, Illinois. That makes sense. I think I was just mentioning Carroll Stream a second ago. Let's see if we can find you. There's Downers Grove, Woodridge, Bolingbrook, Montgomery, Oswego. Might be heading a little bit further away from that area. Let's see. Carroll Stream. Where are we? I can't find it. North of Wheaton. There we go. Okay, I see you. Yep, it's headed right in your direction. I can see it. West Chicago. The funnel is just to the north of West Chicago. We have very, very good inbound winds right along the leading edge of that cell. Not nearly as impressive as the system to the north of it, just to the south of Carpentersville. Now due east of Elgin. Streamwood Schaumburg is right in its line of sight, right in the crosshairs, it looks like. Kimmy M, thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. North of Wheaton, yeah, you're definitely going to have to take shelter. If you're in Carroll Stream, please make sure that you are in your safe space. For anybody out there on TikTok, I would definitely still definitely recommend staying away from windows, staying in an interior part of your house. You never know if something else could drop back down, and you're probably going to be seeing large hail out of this system. If I switch back over to our high-res velocity or a high-res reflectivity, Carroll Stream has a really solid pocket of potentially large hail and strong winds back off to your west, headed in your general direction. If it comes down, if that storm collapses, let me switch over to the Ville. I wish you guys on TikTok could see what I'm seeing right now so you know what I'm breaking down. Let me switch over to the Ville, the vertically integrated liquid. Yeah, so Carroll Stream, West Chicago, St. Charles, Geneva, Wayne, stay away from windows, stay inside, stay out of vehicles if you can, get off the road. Ville is off the charts in that one specific storm, and you're probably seeing a lot of really big hail right now. And at the worst, the hail is going to be large and immediately going to transition to very strong winds because all that Ville that's entrained inside the updraft, the moment it starts to collapse in the blink of an eye, that means all that mass, that momentum transfer is going to rush down to the surface and it's going to hit hard. It's going to create that downrush, that downdraft cape, that downrush damaging straight line wind event. For Wayne, St. Charles, Geneva, you're going to be in the immediate path of it. Carroll Stream is going to see some residual impacts of it depending on how fast it can move off to the east if it continues to pick up speed like it is. And in fact, it looks like it's starting to collapse right now, finally putting this thing in motion. It looks like we're losing the Ville off of it right now, so I would not be surprised if you guys start to see very, very strong winds in that area. You think Upper Indiana weather can still change? Yes, Evelyn, I do think so. Upper Indiana is where we're watching next as these systems continue to fire off. This is only the first swath, and there it is, just as I'd called it. There they go. We got our next line forming up. All right, we got to switch gears here in a second. Let's go back to our MRMS composite. There it is. Off the outflow boundary, we had our system over Dixon collapse. That thing rained itself out very pulse-like. Now we have new stuff in Winnebago, Pecatonica, or Pecatonica, that's what I'm calling it. McChesney Park, Roscoe, Rockton, you have that new cell forming up, and it looks like it's trying to rotate. We already have a severe thunderstorm warning on top of it. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds associated with it as well. That's going to be a miserable situation. It looks like we still have some embedded rotation headed towards the greater Chicago area. It is in West Chicago right now. The radar reflectivity does not look as impressive. Granted, this is our composite reflectivity, but it does not look nearly as impressive. We are starting to see this stuff rain itself out. Northern Chicago, Lake Forest, Vernon Hills, Highland Park, Northbrook, Arlington Heights, Des Plaines, Park Ridge, Schaumburg, Roselle, Carroll Stream. You're definitely under the gun for getting some very strong winds and some potentially damaging hail as this moves through. We're going to be shifting back upstream or back to the west of that first main line that's moving through Crystal Lake, Algonquin, Carpentersville, Elgin, South Elgin, Wayne, Batavia, North Aurora, Montgomery, Oswego, and now now we have something headed towards Machesney Park that looks like it's trying to spin. I think they just briefly extended the severe thunderstorm warning, and then they discontinued it. I saw it pop up for a brief second for Rockton, Roscoe, Machesney Park, Rockford, Beloit, and then it disappeared again. Let me go ahead and let's switch over to our single-site radar so we can get a closer look. Let me switch on up over here. There it is. Now they've extended it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. That next system's definitely going to produce. That is a large, hail-damaging wind maker for sure. Switch over to our high-res velocity. Not a lot of rotation in it just yet. There's not a lot of gate-to-gate shear, so I definitely do think that's going to be far more of a wind event and a damaging hail event if we live up near anywhere in the very uppermost quadrant of Illinois. And that system's going to keep propagating rapidly in haste to the northeast. We still have lots of really good gate-to-gate shear headed towards Arlington Heights, Schaumburg, South Barrington, Palatine. Very good gate-to-gate shear still indicated just to the south of Carpentersville. It looks like there's an embedded spin right just to the immediate east of Carpentersville. It's very interesting. There's a little bit of embedded rotation just to the north of our main area of rotation. So this whole area is still volatile and kind of just rocking and rolling, if you will. Thank you. Yes, G, very good. Glad that you're in the closet because regardless, you're going to see something out of this as it barrels through. You just got to ride it out. You got to give it about 10, 20 minutes max, and it's going to be through your area. Hang tight on the stream. We're going to watch over you. We have multiple areas of rotation moving through Cary, Trout Valley, Lake Barrington, Tower Lakes, ironically, Wakanda, Island Lake, just to the east of Crystal Lake. Now, I keep saying Crystal Lake for my Friday fans out there. Streamwood. Streamwood is right underneath our area of max rotation, max gate-to-gate shear. Really, really, really good inbound, headed towards Hoffman Estates, Schaumburg, right near 58, Interstate 90. Just to the immediate south of Interstate 90 is where I'm seeing the greatest area of rotation right now. Let me zoom out. Let's zoom out, get a better perspective. We don't want to get fixated too heavily on what's happening down there. Let's switch back to our high-res reflectivity. That system up near Machesney Park and Rockford is really getting going, and it blew up only just in a couple of radar scans. Carroll Stream is still under a tornado warning. Wheaton, Roselle, Schaumburg, you have something headed right towards you. Elgin, South Elgin, you look like you're in the clear. Wayne, Batavia, you're in the clear. Aurora is in the clear. You're just getting the hardest heavy rainfall, possibly some hail associated with this, as well as Oswego, Yorkville, headed towards Bolingbrook, Darien, LaGrange, Maywood, Elmwood Park, Northbrook, Highland Park, Vernon Hills, Lake Forest. You are in the direct path of that tornado-warned storm. Multiple tornado-warned storm, I should say. There's 4 individual warnings for that system. I'm living in Illinois. I hear sirens. Jesus Christ is our Savior. Where exactly are you in Illinois? What's a geographic location? What is a geographic location that you could kind of ping us? I'll wait until you tell me you're safe. Until you got to hang tight just a little bit longer. The reflectivities are kind of dropping. It is right over top of West Chicago, Carroll Stream right now. Strongest core of reflectivities where your strongest wind and hail is likely just outside of South Elgin, Streamwood, Schaumburg. And then that system just outside of Machesney Park is really getting going, and it is blowing up fast. It is blowing up very, very fast. Going to zoom out just for a second. We'll come back here in a moment. I just want to see what else is going on in the AOR at the Mesoscale, see if we have anything else starting to fire up. Yeah, if I have anyone watching, G, I would definitely think it's probably hail. It's probably hail. It's more than likely hail. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of hinting towards a major tornado on the ground, but it is very possible that it is still on the ground. Very quickly to shift gears, Charleston, Effingham, Shelbyville, Terre Haute, Paris. It looks like we're about to have convective initiation down there as well. We have a bit more fair weather returns beginning to show up down there, so it's any moment now. It is 8:34. 8:34 in the HER model. The HRRR definitely did a very good job highlighting this situation that's unfolding in now northeastern and northern Illinois, headed towards Kenosha. We have a special marine warning out for the Great Lakes area as well. So we have to watch across the way getting into Michigan. Benton Harbor, Niles, you have an area that's getting ready to go up as well. We're starting to see convective initiation out there, so be ready for that. Missouri, central Missouri, still not showing too much in the way of intense activity just yet. I'm definitely thinking that just outside of Shelbyville, Charleston, Effingham, Robinson, Greenville, Olney, that area is ripe to go. How are we doing in the YouTube chat, guys? It's gone quiet. Either that or maybe it's lagging on me. I haven't seen anybody populate in the YouTube stream just yet in terms of the chat. Carol Stream, you were in the brunt of it right now. I'm going to switch back over to my high-res velocity so we can take a look at what's going on out there. There's a little bit of embedded rotation, nothing super substantial. We don't have as much gate-to-gate. There is definitely a tornado on the ground, if not trying to touch down over South Barrington, Iverness, Palatine. Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, Wheeling, Riverwoods, Deerfield, Northbrook. You need to be in a safe spot. You definitely need to be in a safe spot. Sutton, just to the south of Barrington. South Barrington is getting it right now. Very, very good gate-to-gate shear. Just down to the southeast of Carpentersville. Now you have those rotating cells kind of orbiting around your location in Carpentersville. It's very crazy, and it looks like there's a system trying to back build up near West Ridge Village, Country Knolls, just to the west of Elgin. System up near Rockton, not getting a lot of rotation out of it, but definitely getting a lot of really good indications that we have strong winds and hail associated with it. Oh yeah, definitely big time. Ville is skyrocketing near Beloit, Rockton, and Roscoe. Ville amounts are starting to dissipate as you get closer to Rockford, Winnebago, McChesney Park, Loves Park. The southern half, the southwestern half of this storm is definitely weakening. That's for sure. Which direction is the Barrington storm headed? Let me let you know. I'll go ahead and put it in place, or I'll put it in play. Let me switch back over to our base velocity, high-res velocity. There is South Barrington. I would imagine it's propagating off towards the east-southeast. Let's see. No, actually, it's headed towards the east-northeast, towards Inverness, Palatine, Wheeling, Long Grove. It is headed away from Streamwood, away from Schaumburg. That is definitely a tornado on the ground, though. 150%. You can see some really, really, really good micro-scale rotation with that system. That is a textbook supercell rolling through. Carol Stream just had something barrel through there. In fact, Carol Stream, you may have just had a tornado roll through that area. You may have had a tornado roll through that area in Carol Stream, if I still have people watching from Carol Stream. Gee, you're in Carol Stream, right? Or is it Carpentersville? I'm trying to remember. I got two chats going on simultaneously, but there is definitely something rolling through the Carol Stream area. I just saw it. Sometimes I need to leave this thing looping, but you could definitely see some spin, whether it was a mesocyclone or a confirmed tornado that moved over Batavia, West Chicago, just barely scraped to the north of Carol Stream, moved right through Bloomingdale, it looked like. Okay, Carol Stream, yeah, so you may have heard hail alongside something trying to rotate and spin through. Any bad weather anytime soon for Miami? Ceci, unfortunately, to tell you the truth, in Florida, nah, we're quiet, hun. We're very quiet. It's going to be very boring down here in Florida for a little while. We're going to be exploring a possible weather threat as we get into early March. More to come on the TikTok and on my other social media, my YouTube, to talk about that a little bit more. But as of right now, not too much for Florida, just at least on the immediate horizon. But yes, Bloomingdale, you had something pass right through there and then it dissipated. South Barrington moving off to the east-northeast. Definitely a very, very aggressively rotating supercell that's moving across that area. There is most definitely a tornado on the ground. That is without a shadow of a doubt. And in fact, looking at these returns here, it does look like we are starting to see that cyclogenesis over northern Illinois. Starting to see the whole wind field rotating around this system. We're going from microscale rotation, which is probably why we're seeing these supercells instigate intensification the way that they are, because we're getting that triple point cyclogenesis or some sort of a cyclogenic system here. We're having a low pressure form up right over top McHenry, Round Lake Beach, Antioch, Spring Grove, Harvard. The low pressure is finally starting to get going. Barrington is definitely getting hit hard. That is for sure. Definitely getting hit hard. Ceci, I'm not too sure what you just sent me. I'm still very unfamiliar with TikTok, but thank you very much for sending that over. It means a lot, especially being one of my first simultaneous live streams alongside what I'm doing on YouTube. Very, very, very aggressive rotation going on, though, guys. Algonquin, Barrington, Carpentersville, there is definitely a tornado on the south side of that system, headed towards Palatine. It definitely looked like there was something that spun through Carroll Stream and Roselle, Bensonville. So northern Chicago, the greater Chicago area, is definitely not out of the woods just yet. Carroll Stream is definitely... you're getting hit hard. You're on the backside of the system. You're probably getting the downrush winds or the convective winds with this. I'm not seeing anything in terms... I mean, depending on where you are geographically in Carroll Stream, the rotation, the isolated rotation is definitely not there anymore. It's collapsed. I don't see anything indicating a tornado on the ground. Let me switch back over to our high-res reflectivity. Yeah, you've got very heavy rainfall and possibly very strong winds hitting your area right now, far east of the town. Are you closer to Glendale Heights then, from what I'm seeing? I'm going to zoom way in. I can see you've got very heavy returns over County Farm Road, Coon Road, Lies Road West, Lies Road East, North Gary Avenue, East Fullerton Avenue, Mission Street, Center Avenue, North Schmale Road. Glendale Heights is definitely getting the hammer brought down on them now. Bloomingdale is definitely getting hit hard. South Barrington is definitely getting whiplashed by this system. That is ridiculous. We have extreme returns. I'm not even going to say big returns. Those are extreme returns right now. Right over top Barrington Hills, Deer Park, Inverness, South Barrington, Palatine. You have some very, very hard-hitting stuff hitting there right now, headed towards Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, headed towards the PWK. I'm not too sure which airport that is, but it's going right towards the airport, getting ready to cross over the 14 and 68. Literally Coon and North Avenue. Let me go ahead and zoom back in. I can see you. I can definitely see where you are. How far are you from the Gretna Museum in Carroll Stream? How far away from you are there? Because that's one of the greatest geographic points I can pull up outside of Glenbard North High School, just to the south of Lies Road West. Lake Park Estates, 90-mile-an-hour winds. That's well within hurricane force winds. Wow. What about Randolph County in Alabama? Alabama is good. Bray LaShawn, Alabama is doing okay. Alabama, we don't really have much going on right now. We're not going to have a whole lot going on right now. The severe weather focus is up in the Midwest, just to the south of our Great Lakes, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, down into the Kentucky, West Virginia area. What's your opinion on this year's hurricane season? Do you foresee a lot of activity? Ceci, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to join us for some of my tropics talk here on YouTube. I'm definitely thinking this hurricane season is going to be ridiculous. Still a little early out to tell, but we have a lot of precursor ingredients coming together that would suggest we're going to get a lot of development out there in the tropics. And I'm going to start pushing tropical updates as early as May. Because I think we have a very, very good chance, especially if we see El Nino and the wind shear out there start to relax, we will probably start to see things form up as early as May. We'll talk more about that very soon, though. Trust me, I can promise you that. Lots of intense rotation. Look at the outbound returns here. That is insane. Look at this low-level micro-scale. This is probably an inflow jet that we're seeing here moving through Wakanda, Port Barrington, Cary, Lake Zurich, Grays Lake. Crystal Lake is still on the backside of this system. We have a huge area of inflow on the backside of that system that's moving through Barrington and Arlington Heights right now. That is intense. There are probably extreme low-level winds going on right there, right now. Very strong stuff. And the system up there near Rockton, Roscoe, McChesney Park, Rockford is still kicking. It's still alive and kicking, and it's still staying strong. It looks like it's starting to rain itself out. We're going to have to start tracking this line north. Definitely going to have to start tracking this line north. Carroll Stream, you're almost through. I can promise you that. Carroll Stream, we are almost through. I can guarantee it. We're getting close. We're almost on the backside of it right now. You're probably seeing very heavy rainfall as this area begins to conglomerate into a line echo wave pattern, which is basically a straight line. You're almost done, Carroll Stream. Give it another 10, 20 minutes, and you'll be good to go. You'll be all done. Barrington is getting hit hard. Barrington is getting hit very hard. Same thing with Arlington Heights. Schaumburg is right in the heart of it. Arlington Heights is right up next. They're going to get smacked. Northbrook, Highland Park, Vernon Hills, Lake Forest, take shelter. Take shelter, take shelter, take shelter. We have stuff rapidly firing up near McChesney Park, Roscoe, Rockton, Beloit. Clinton is next. We have a whole line of squall activity firing up and headed towards Richmond. Getting ready to fire for Richmond. I can see the outflow boundary moving through the pattern. Whitewater, Richmond, Palmyra, Eagle, North Prairie, Mukwonago. Wow, some very interesting names up there. We're now in Wisconsin. This area is just going to continue to blossom north, right along the northern area, or right along the northern periphery of the outflow that these storms are producing and just kicking off in all sorts of different directions. Let's see. Whew, we got a lot going on now. What about northern Indiana? Indiana is still quiet for now. It's getting ready to push into the state of Indiana here any moment now, though. We have a very, very small linear activity or linear rotational activity that's going on headed towards Chicago, Evanston. Carroll Stream, you are just about on the back side of it now. Yeah, Carroll Stream, you should be good to go now. Carroll Stream should be quieting down. At least according to the radar here, our strongest returns are now up over Glendale Heights, getting ready to clear Glendale Heights over Wooddale, Addison, Bloomingdale. Carroll Stream, you are now in the clear. You're on the back side of it. You're probably still seeing some strong winds, I would imagine, from all the cold air that's coming down. There we go. We got some new hail reports. Schaumburg, 1-inch hail in Cook County. Relayed via MPing time estimated by radar. We have another hail report just to the southeast of West Dundee, 1-inch hail, so big-time hail out there. Gee, there we go. Perfect. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Take your time venturing out, though. Take your time venturing out. One thing I cannot see on here is we probably have a hell of a lot of lightning going on, and we probably have a lot of winds on the backside of this system still kicking off through that area, but I'm very, very grateful that you sheltered in place, you rode it out, you made it. You survived Twister. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not going to start cracking jokes now. But anyways, Carroll Stream, you were good to go. We got to watch out for anything that might try to back build in that area. There are still some decent returns that could possibly try to drop some lightning and higher winds. But the main squall entity starting to form up into this mesoscale rotation almost is just going crazy. Right over top of Barrington, heading towards Vernon Hills, Mundelein, Lake Forest. We have one area that is specifically tornado warned. That whole area is severe thunderstorm warned. And slowly but surely, it's going to start to wash itself out. Slowly but surely. Let's see. Let's go back to MRMS. That's about it so far. We don't have much else in terms of initiation going on. And very soon, once we can get that once we can take that L, no, but is the storm going to hit Ohio? You will start to see thunderstorm activity form up in Ohio. In fact, it looks like Ohio has some small-scale stuff firing up near Akron, Cleveland, Youngstown. Nothing too crazy, just some shower and lingering rain activity up through that area in Ohio. Nothing else is going on right now, folks. And truthfully, once we can get that line of organized thunderstorms out of northeastern Illinois, things will quiet down for a little bit. In fact, I'm really, really wondering when we're going to start to see initiation of everything else. Still watching and still waiting. Still watching and waiting. There's a lot of other locations that are still waiting to go. But that one small area is really firing right now. Everybody on YouTube doing okay? Hello, Nazario. A lot of these very wild and crazy storms of these damaging winds are all over the place. Stay safe, everyone in those areas. James Davidson, thank you very much for the kind words. My ex lives in Racine. Wonder if it'll get that far north. That is a good chunk of the north suburbs. Tornado warned. Wow. Yeah, that's a very highly populated area, Will. I agree. Very, very highly populated area. 90 miles an hour over in Pinehurst Manor. Pinehurst, another Friday the 13th reference. Long Grove is getting hit by 90-mile-an-hour winds. Very, very strong winds. Those are full-fledged Category 1 hurricane winds right there. That is intense. For Illinois, and a very populated area of Illinois for that matter, we are definitely getting damage done. Definitely lots of damage getting done out there for certain. Not a whole lot yet still popping off. We have our cells organized and moving across Missouri. Maybe there's a little bit of latency in the southern half of this system. I think the northern half of the system is probably being instigated by cyclogenesis. That's really helping to fire off what's happening in northern Illinois. That's going to push out, and then it'll be a domino effect as that line, that frontal activity, continues to propagate down to the south and east. The chasers I can see on radar scope right now are still following this stuff. They're following it right up to the border of the Great Lakes. Gee, I'm once again very, very grateful that nothing has happened. Well, you're going to have to step outside later on and give us a damage report, or private message me on TikTok to let us know exactly what happened if you can, if you could be so kind, if you're still in the chat. It is supposed to be overnight, yeah. At this point in time, though, 8:50, well, actually, it depends on if the models adjust for the time zones, because if it's 8:50 p.m. right now here, Eastern time, that'd be getting up close to 8 p.m. out there for our central folks, which means within the next hour is when we'll finally start to see other areas initiate into parts of Missouri and southern Illinois. We'll start to see stuff going off. Oh, yeah, gee, don't go outside just yet. Don't head out just yet. I'm saying later on, you'll definitely have to do a damage assessment, preferably when the sun comes back up. All right, 94-mile-an-hour winds over Prairie View. Sad part is that was the part of Illinois that got the tornado outbreak back in the fall. Yes, they did. Mick and Marley, thank you very much, for sure. Yep, that's the new thumbnail. Cat 1 makes landfall in Chicago. A hurricane over the Great Lakes. No, we're just messing around. We're farting around. But all right, real fast, while we have a bit of a ceasefire, it looks like a lot of this stuff is moving through. Wow, that is a huge hook. That is a huge line echo wave pattern spread now over Barrington, Arlington Heights, Vernon Hills. Look at the outflow that's moving off toward the east. Very, very powerful outflow boundaries. There we go. This line is going to continue to activate as it spreads further into Wisconsin. Wisconsin is not out of the woods. Milwaukee, just to the west of that area, Menomonee Falls. Wow, very interesting names up there in Wisconsin. We have some special weather statements coming out, probably some 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds with that line as it continues to move through. Let's see. Yep, 40 miles an hour and penny-sized hail up there near Janesville. 7 miles east of Janesville in Wisconsin. We now have Wisconsin under the gun for some bad weather. Izzy, thank you very much for sharing the live. Temp had dropped significantly too. Yep, that's that cold pool that just moved through, and the front is probably rapidly working its way through your area as well. All right, folks, it is coming up on 8:52. We're probably going to end the stream here momentarily because I unfortunately have a full-time job and other duties I got to get back to. But we're going to take a look at what's coming. Let's do a brief for our folks on TikTok. Let's do a brief for our folks on YouTube. We have not really had the chance to look at a lot of our model data. We're going to start off with the European model, and we're going to pump the brakes a little bit now that we have a little bit of a time to breathe. Tay, the storms are working their way towards Michigan. It looks like you guys are going to be more of a nocturnal threat, and unfortunately, I will not be streaming throughout the duration of that, so please definitely have a way to get warnings if need be. The southern half of the Michigan Peninsula is going to be more of the concern overall with the nocturnal threat getting ready to work its way through. For those of you on TikTok, I know you won't be able to see, but if you'd like to listen to the narration, feel free. I'd love to have you guys. On YouTube, we're going to take you through the 12Z European model so we can see exactly what's happening. Massive storm system is going to just continue to move its way off to the east. Quebec, Ontario, James Bay, and the Great Lakes area is in for a good whopping of lake effect snow for my Wisconsin and my Michigan viewers if you're on TikTok or on YouTube. Lake effect as well as maybe some icing is very likely once we get to the backside of this system. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, not going to see too much of it, and especially the further off to the south you get, Kentucky, Tennessee, even down through Mississippi and Louisiana, where you could get some rainfall activity from this. Nothing in terms of severe weather, maybe some light indications of some thunderstorm activity out there, some pops of thunder and lightning, maybe on occasion for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Nothing really crazy in terms of severe weather. Tomorrow, our day 2 threat extends through West Virginia, parts of Kentucky, and Tennessee along the leading edge of that front as it propagates through the mid-Atlantic region, gets over the Appalachians, and then out to sea, and then we're left with some very good lake effect that's going to continue to persist through Thursday and finally dissipate as we get into very early Friday morning. After that, the residual high pressure that's pushing that system off the east coast of the U.S. is going to help to slowly but surely start to rotate our once again modified maritime tropical air out of the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico through Cuba, the Yucatan Channel, Bahamas up through the peninsula of Florida and up the Gulf Coast. And we could see some pretty decent cyclogenesis down there. Going to have to watch that very closely as we get into... Yeah, we're going to definitely have to watch that. That is an area that I suspect we could maybe see a designation for my south viewers, my southern U.S. viewers down there. We don't seem to see a lot of intense activity just yet on the horizon. We're still far ways away, but all of our models are definitely hinting towards some kind of El Nino subtropical jet cyclogenesis occurring over Texas, Louisiana, familiar territory for a lot of us. As we get into March, first couple days of March between the 3rd and the 5th, we could possibly see some stuff forming up down there. We'll take a quick glance at our Cape, see what that kind of shows, because I know we're going to be in a very volatile environment around then. Yeah, actually, there is quite a bit of surface Cape. If that system can form itself up, we could possibly see some thunderstorm activity down here in the southeast, and it finally looks like Florida could be under the gun for some type of a setup if it does trend. So that's what's on the immediate horizon for now. We have another storm system that's expected to blossom over the south and the Gulf Coast, the Dixie Alley area. And I'm still watching off the east coast of the U.S. because I'm seeing very, very faint whispers that some sort of a Gulf Stream-induced low pressure is going to try to form and move its way up towards the Carolinas, kind of like Tropical Storm Ophelia did last year. For my viewers on TikTok, if you remember last year, we had a tropical storm that was designated at the last second that formed up over the Gulf Stream just off the mid-Atlantic coast and pushed into North Carolina and Virginia. I know my Weather Center viewers on YouTube are very familiar with that. So I'm watching that as well. Not necessarily thinking that's going to be a severe weather threat, but very interesting that we could possibly see some double-barrel cyclogenesis alongside what could possibly happen over the Gulf Coast, but something very weird forming up and scraping against the eastern coast of Cape Hatteras, Virginia, getting up towards the northeast. And then we're going to be watching for that development in eastern Texas, Louisiana, as we go through very late Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then it could possibly be a bit of a severe weather event as we get forward in time for the southeast, maybe getting into Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. Doesn't seem all that impressive for Florida. It does not seem like it's going to be very impressive for Florida, but we'll wait and see. We'll switch rapidly over to our 18 Zulu GFS, and then we'll take one last glance at our radar data just to see exactly what's happening out there before we quit the stream. And let's take a look. Let's go ahead and see what we got. There we go. Let me adjust the chart so you guys can see on YouTube. Ellen, Michigan is definitely going to get it, but overnight. It might not be as intense as we're seeing in northern Illinois, as that's also being supported by our low pressure that's developing over northern Illinois and pushing off to the northeast. But you can definitely expect a round of nocturnal thunderstorms that could try to go severe, especially for the south and southwestern portions of the peninsula. So please keep an eye out as we go overnight. Have a way to wake up and be alerted if you need to. So there goes our system. We're looking at 18 Zulu GFS now, and even the 18Z GFS has that very random system. Not necessarily frontal, and if it is frontal, it's very weak. So it could possibly be a very, very minimal subtropical system that tries to form up over the Gulf Stream and kick out over the waters. The GFS is picking up on that as well. And then the next system does not quite pack as much of a very distinct punch, but we do start to see some development over the southeast. And wow, this model run wants to build a nor'easter off the northeastern coastline. So this doesn't match up with the European model at all. Does not match up with the European model at all. But for viewers up there in the Midwest, we're going to have to continue to monitor what the trends look like and what our upper air pattern does in terms of steering these systems through, because it looks like this is only round one. This is only round one for the time being. I'm currently in Lenox. How is my weather tonight? Lennox. I'll take a look here in a second. I'm back briefing everybody on what's to come here in a moment, but I'll look at you here in a second into the Lennox area. Unless somebody in my YouTube chat, could you guys take a look at what's going on in Lennox right now? Lenox. Please, while I finish up the briefing with looking ahead, mid to long range. Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, Great Lakes, Northern Plains. We're going to have to watch for a secondary system that's going to come through during the the first weekend of March. As we get through, we could possibly see another severe weather event, mainly confined to, as weird as this is going to sound, Wisconsin, the northern half of Illinois, and maybe Michigan, depending on how this shakes out. It looks like the southern tail of that front is really starting to wash out. We'll have to continue to monitor. I'm back over on the 12Z GFS just to see exactly what's happening. 12Z GFS is an agreement that we could see some sort of a developing feature in eastern Texas and parts of Oklahoma, moving a little bit further to the north than what the European model depicts. That could possibly ignite some pretty strong storms through Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. The Florida Panhandle could be a chase opportunity. We are still about 200 hours out from that, so we're going to be watching for the wiggling and wobbling. Yeah. JF, thank you, Weather Center Nazario, and thanks to the great mods. Stay safe, y'all. Thank you very much, JF. I do appreciate you tuning in tonight. We're starting to thin the crowd out a little bit. Let's take a look at Lennox real quick. My money is on us all roundabout July, saying, dang, remember when we were saying Florida met again? These may be the good old days for us. But yeah, Mick and Marley, I agree. Maybe Florida is just being completely ignored by Mother Nature for the time being, because we're going to get it during the tropical season, and we'll be out there filming and storm chasing the tropical cyclones as they come through. We're going to wait and see. We're going to find out. Which, by the way, real quick, got to throw the plug out there because, shoot, it's already almost the end of February. YouTube and TikTok alike for whoever's watching real quick. Not February. Strike that. Outtake. Take two. For March 1st, we're going to get a new round of Climo data. So naturally, one of our first live streams as we get into the month of March is going to be tropical in nature. So if Ceci, you're still in the TikTok chat, if you folks on YouTube would like to tune in for our live stream or our discussion concerning the new Climo data for the tropics, as we get into March 1st, we're definitely going to be doing that here very soon as we get all of our fresh Climo data, the CANSIPs, the CFS, the North American Multi-Model Ensemble is going to come in as well. We'll digest that. We'll take a look at what the Euro model is thinking in terms of its seasonal outlook. So we will see. Let's take a look at Lennox now. Let's go back to the radar before we conclude our live stream, and we will round out the stream by taking a look at that area. So it looks like a large majority of our strong stuff is beginning to move off into the Great Lakes. Highland Park, Mundelein, Waukegan, however you say that, Evanston, Greater Chicago, Oak Lawn, Orland Park. Bolingbrook is definitely starting to get schmammered with this stuff that's moving through right now. Oh, yeah, and that'll line up perfectly, PM. Excellent reminder. Thank you. Send me a message on X reminding me of that as well. Friday, West 2 News in Central Florida is going to release their preliminary tropical cyclone forecast as well. So I'll probably do a brief live stream digesting that too, because it'll also be March 1st. So it'll line up excellently. Beverly Rayburn, welcome in from Tampa, Florida. You got us just at the right time. All right, so let's take a look at Lennox real fast. Let's see exactly what's going on out there real quick before we end the live stream. Let's see. Which Lennox are you out of? Because I'm familiar with a few different ones, and I'm also thinking boxing Lennox Lewis. I don't know why. But Beverly Rayburn, if you want to tune in on YouTube as well and take a look at some of the updates that we're going to be doing for the tropics here very soon as we get our new climate data, we're definitely be discussing that on Friday. Currently, it looks like our severe weather threat is starting to push safely over the waters, which means that eventually, as we move through time, we're going to see this start to rebuild over southwestern Michigan. So Michigan, you're coming up next in the next couple of hours. Oh, New Lenox. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. New Lenox, Illinois. That's what I figured. Let's take a look real fast. Let's pull up some data. Let's pull up some data really fast. I'm low-key starting to get tired, folks. It's been a very long day. Definitely been a very long day. All right, Let's see if I can zoom in. New Lenox, there you are. So we have a very, very southernmost extension of weak returns forming up over Joliet, just to your west, but nothing too crazy. I think you're going to get a little bit of wind. It's going to get breezy. It's going to get rainy down there in that area here in a moment, but nothing too crazy. It looks like a lot of the strongest stuff is up near Woodridge, Bolingbrook, Darien, Willowbrook as well. Speaking of Willow, I wonder where she is. But all right, folks, that's all she wrote. I don't know why it is that I'm still sipping on coffee this late at night. But you know what it is. That's what kind of a day it's been. That's what kind of a week and a half it's been. We're on day 9, and tomorrow will be day 10. Shoot. No rest in sight just yet. Here we go. All right. Before we end the stream, it looks like we're finally starting to get a little bit of initiation. Maryville, Gary, Cedar Lake. We're now getting into Indiana. We're crossing the state border into Indiana. We're starting to see some stuff firing in the northwest quadrant of Indiana. Here we go. We're starting to see that cap lift. Nowhere else just yet. It does look like Effingham, Greenville, Newton, and Southern Illinois does want to get going. And we still have our very small organized showers and cells moving through central Missouri. As they get closer to Illinois, they're going to start to fire up as well. But we are starting to see ignition into Indiana. So if I have anybody tuning in from Indiana on YouTube or on TikTok, we are starting to get some activity going off in there. And unfortunately, we will not be able to cover it on the channel because life. One of these days, Lord willing, I can do this and just stay on. Unfortunately, I do not have the capabilities like some others do of staying on forever and a day and streaming all day. I wish I could do that. Shoot, I'd rather waste brain cells doing that versus everything else that we have going on. But, ladies and gentlemen on TikTok, if you are joining in, we are ending the live stream. Thank you very much for those of you who did tune in. We'll see you next time. This is our first Weather Center live stream, and Lord willing, we can get to 10,000 followers on TikTok sooner than later so we can fart. Another outtake, blooper, take 2. So we can start to simultaneously merge these streams together. So I can not only populate the data and the visuals that I'm showing everyone on YouTube to TikTok. That is the end-all, be-all goal. So if you guys are watching out there, sharing the live streams, please advocate for the channel, for the page. Get the follower count up so we can get to 10,000 followers faster and faster. And then we can all join the community together and we can all see exactly what everyone else is seeing, okay? So TikTok, Weather Center Nazario, signing out. Alrighty, folks. Now to the YouTube channel. We are also going to be signing out. It is that time of the night. Woo. Alright, I'm definitely worn out. We have round 2 getting ready to fire up. In fact, shoot, now I don't... Oh, man. Yeah, we got Gary, Portage, Maryville, Valparaiso, Wabash, North Manchester. It looks like stuff is going to start getting going in that area here. Any moment now, we're going to get the second wave. The second wave is going to start popping up. So be prepared. It does finally look like we're starting to get a little bit of initiation near Effingham in Illinois as well. So we're going to have to watch that closely. Still a tornado warning, getting ready to move into the southern Great Lakes up there. Yep, here we go. Indiana, you're in it next. Indiana, the northern portion of Indiana is starting to fire as we speak. Starting to get going. I just realized my radar screen is all dorked up. Let me go ahead and move this over. Let me move this, fix this a little bit. There we go. So this is it. This is going to be wave 2. Where'd my Epic pen go? I lost it. I didn't close it out, did I? Yeah, there we go. There it is. This area is going to get going. It looks like we're going to have to watch into the southwest quadrant of Michigan. And if I transition off to the south just a little, that's not what I wanted to do. If I transition off to the south, clear the ink, this area down here we're going to have to start watching as well. And as these propagate off to the northeast, east-northeast. So there you have it. Southern Illinois, you're not out of the woods yet. Northern Illinois, I do think you are out of the woods. You are going to see some stability as that storm continues to move off. It is merged into one. So the stability is going to build in on the west side of these features. The instability is going to continue to blossom and bloom, even nocturnally out ahead of these storms because of the cloud cover now insulating what daytime heating we had down at the surface. We're not going to be able to dissipate that heat as fast. So we still got a lot of action going on out there, and there is still more to come. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into the live stream. We will talk to you again very soon. We'll see exactly what's happening tomorrow during the afternoon to make the determination of if we're actually going to go live tomorrow. I might take a break. We will see. Lord knows my brain could use a break, but I do love talking and congregating with you guys, so to be determined. I'll let you guys know for certain. You will definitely see more updates on my Instagram and my TikTok. That is undoubtedly where I will be posting the most frequently. YouTube, we might take a break tomorrow and prep for Thursday to see exactly what's on the horizon, and then prep even more so for our Friday night Tropics talk, because not only is all of our Climo data loading up on a Friday hype night, but also we got that tropical cyclone forecast courtesy of West 2 News here in Central Florida. All right, guys? Thank you so much for being such a wonderful crowd. Thank you very much for the folks who donated the $15 to the chat revenue. It means a ton amount for sure. It means a tremendous amount. It helps to bolster the mood. It helps to keep the channel going and growing. And yeah, folks, that's all she wrote. Very interesting evening. Lots of good coverage, and we did it. We managed to help a few people out, too, which definitely means the world to me. It makes me feel good. We could cover down and help folks ride it out just like we've guaranteed from day one with this channel. And Lord willing, we can get many more of those wins under our belt. But in the meantime, I'm going to go get some rest, get a shower in, and I hope that you guys can do the same if you are safe in your neck of the woods. And if you are continuing to watch what happens out there in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and all the other areas potentially under the gun for some severe weather tonight, just know that you're in our thoughts and prayers. And as soon as we get up in the morning, we're going to get back to watching the weather and trying to do as best we can to attack this stuff head on and keep you ahead of it, because that's the name of the game here at the Weather Center. But folks, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night. Thanks again for being such a gracious and gratuitous crowd. You all are amazing, literally in every sense of the word, and you keep motivating me and inspiring me to get back on this camera, even during the worst of days, even as exhausted as I can be. I'm still here trying to do my best for you guys, because we're all in this together. We are the Weather Center community, and that's exactly the note we're going to carry throughout the rest of the year, no matter what the case may be in the weather sphere. So we will talk to you very soon. I definitely hope to meet again. We'll see you again very soon, regardless of where you are. But until next time, this is Weather Center Nazario, signing out.